Alright, so here's a quick video. I didn't see any real good ones out there on how to do this, so this one's going to be a little more comprehensive, but hopefully it helps some people out. So here's the tools I'm going to use when we're going to fix these seat cushions. We're going to use the drill or the screwdrivers to take off the cushions, tape measure to measure our fabric, and then we definitely need, if you can use scissors. This is a lot easier if you just use your scoring knife and a utility knife and then a metal rule. I got this one at an old Habitat for Humanity restore. We're going to definitely need a staple gun and more staples. So here's the issue we're running into. So someone else actually did these for me a while back. They didn't really make the plastic that tight, but that's okay. That's not a big deal. The real problem is here. If you see, this is that cheap plastic. I don't know where it came from, but what you really need is the good stuff from Hobby Lobby. This real thin stuff looks great. It lasts for a little while, but this is probably not even held up for a year. This cheap stuff just tears really easy. And the corners are what gets worn out because something gets caught in those corners and that's it. Here's another chair, and you can see here, this one's held up a little bit, but then I come to the other corner and sure enough, here it all comes apart. It's just busting and not holding up. That's a nice chair. I mean, we want to take care of it. We want to keep the color. So let's see what we can do. So I just want to show you finished product. So this is something that we just wrapped up. I just finished these up, and you see we got a nice corner here. Now we did end up with a couple of folds through here, and there's a reason for that, is because of the angle of the side of these chairs. They're not actually a square. They are kind of a triangular shape, more like a trapezoid, coming down the side. So I put a couple of folds just so it can stay uniform as it comes down. And you'll see it's a nice uniform. These catches are very minor. They're only at the bottom, so I'm not going to be caught, and those corners are real strong. This fabric is much thicker. Like I said, I got this from Hobby Lobby. It's not that expensive. Use your 40% off coupon. They'll be more than happy to hook you up. And like I was talking about, here it is. I was just finishing this job up, and the kids came in, ate, and there it is already. We got our first culprits, and we can just wipe that up, and it's really easy. There's no residue whatsoever, and you end up with that. It's a nice clean look, and let's keep our chairs going. So first thing, whatever kind of chairs you have, you're going to have some kind of fastener on the chair that's holding that cushion on there. This one's got these little brackets. That last chair, as I was just showing you, they actually had some 45s going into the wood. The main thing you want to do is you don't want to overwork those screws as they're coming in and out. This back here is only cardboard. It's just a thick cardboard type substance, and so it's strong enough for what it's meant to do, is to sustain when somebody's sitting on it. But if you keep trying to put those screws in there, you will wear it out. Now I did put an extension on my drill just so I can reach down and grab those screws in there. All right, like I said, someone else did this last one for me, and you'll notice they use a lot of staples as they were going around. I really don't like this a lot of staples approach because it actually weakens the fabric. Just think of Swiss cheese. So what you're going for, and this happens a lot in construction areas, that guys will get the nail gun and they'll take that hydraulic nail gun, or if they got an air-powered pneumatic air gun, or even now the electric ones, and they just think more nails, stronger fix, and that actually doesn't work. The more you put fasteners into something, the more you destroy the integrity of the fabric, and even especially with a nail gun with the wood, and it will fail quicker. So you don't need a lot of them, you just need some. All right, so here we are. We've got the plastic here we're working with. Now the thing I want to point out here is that these are the last two cushions, so I'm really limited on the amount of material I have left. But what I've done, I've already separated it. I'm just going to use as much as I can here. So I've measured out. I think it's good to have about 5 inches on each side of the cushion. So if you take your cushion here and you want to look at it, let's grab our measuring tape. So on this one, we see the cushion is about 20 inches wide. So I would add about 5 inches, and that would give me about 25 on this side and 5 on that side. Now, another good rule of thumb is if you want to just kind of work with the fabric, you could really get away with about 3.5 inches. So if I added whatever that is, so that would be 20 inches. If I added 7 inches to it, then that would give me 27 inches. And that's actually a really good measurement to work off of. Unfortunately, we don't have that here because, like I said, I am at my last of my material. And one thing I do want to show you, I just saw this one. It's like this little pin right here. this staple. I didn't remove the staples when I took off the old plastic. What I did is I just pulled it out. So there are some staples that did get kind of hung out, so I want to go ahead and take those out. But there's no reason to remove them because they're also holding in this old fabric that was here. Let's go ahead and cut it, and we'll see what that looks like. So I'm going to use a sworn method. You could also use scissors to cut this. Any good pair of fabric scissors will work. But in this method, we draw out our line, we measure, and then using a metal rule, all I have to do is take my utility knife. Now you see I put down something to protect my floor here while I do the cutting. It's an old piece of plywood I have. And we can separate that and we end up with two separate pieces. Alright, so now we're in the process we're going to staple. Like I said, I'm using a piece. This is kind of the overlap we're looking for. If we look in the front and the back, I've got a good 2.5 to 3 inches of overlap. That's exactly what I want. But I'm using leftover pieces here. I've already done, let's see, I'm at 4 chairs, a bench, and another 2 chairs. So I'm at 6 chairs and a bench. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to level this up. I'm going to try to get it centered and make sure I'm using the most of the material. So you're going to get like the worst case scenario here. And I'm going to start off here, putting my first staple. You see I'm putting the staple parallel to the chair. The reason I'm doing that is because that holds the best as I'm coming. If I did this way, it could tear. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to do the same thing. You can see I'm going to pull it as tight as I can. And I'm going to my worst case point. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to work down. I don't like this method as much. I like the fold method I did on the other one. But because I have limited fabric, I am going to go ahead. And so I'm going to space these out and I'm just going to walk down the cushion here. As I'm walking down the cushion, I don't want to get all the way to this point. I'll show you why here. Let me show you a trick here. Alright, so here what I'm showing here is that basically what we're trying to do is we're going to work. This is the hard part on doing this, is you're trying to work with the folds. And so to do that fold, if you see here, I want to use the natural fold. This is where the back of the chair is. It goes in this area. So when I go to do the fold, I want to make a 45 that basically follows that. But what I don't want is I don't want this to stick out a lot. So I'm going to work that 45 until I get an angle. Yes, this came when I was pulling out that old plastic. One of them got me. But what I'm going to try to do is see how I work that 45, and I've got the angle here I'm looking for. It follows the curvature of the chair. Now it did stick up a little bit. That's okay. I can work with that. The chair is going to sit against that. We're going to do the same thing here. That's the back of the chair. That's where the back of the chair is going to sit. So we're going to work and we're going to make a 45. We're folding in. As we fold the fabric, we fold it in, and we want to work, and it's a clean fold. It doesn't want to be all creased. It's a clean fold all the way through. And I just work that fold until I get exactly what I'm looking for here. Now it's a little tougher because I'm trying to do this while you guys are watching. But that's a little too much. Let's just work and a little back in and see how that looks. That's getting closer right there. It's actually looking pretty good right there. Yep, that's looking really good right there. Okay, so we're going to fold that and start stapling. So this is what I'm looking for here. You can see how I could put this in. The chair is going to sit there. I've got a nice 45 here, a staple here, and then I can finish my staple. Like I said, I don't need too many. I just need enough that lays it in. This is my prime area I want to staple in here. We're going to do the other side. We're going to do the same thing and work our way down. Alright, so now that we have the two edges done, we're going to pull this tight here in the middle. Pull these sides out and pull as tight as we can right here in the middle. Staple that. Again, we pull out the side.